It's been a busy off-season with 8 teams now with new coaches in the competition. It's generated a whole heap of player movement as well. Incredible to try and follow that in the off-season.
Of course, we've got Mitchelton and Taringa that have been promoted this season in the Trophy Superstore Premier League, and 3 new ladies teams in the BWPL.
Yes, so welcome to Capalaba, Logan Lightning and Toowong in the Brisbane Women's Premier League. Well, first we've got a round of applause for those clubs. And now we are going to launch into the Trophy Superstore Premier League sides, and our first club is Albany Creek. And Albany Creek look to move it on the counter quickly. Jackson. Solo run here from Travis Jackson. Oh, fantastic goal there from Travis Jackson. He made it all himself and then lobbed Kigo Horry at the end of it. Now they're looking to move the ball quickly. Sullivan. Oh, that's another great strike. Albany Creek now have 8. Corey, you've got an interesting coaching background. You've come from Iran. You've had some experience with the Olympic setup in Iran, and I believe that you also assisted Iran in the recent Asian Cup. What are the coaching differences you've seen between the two countries?
Honestly, it's a really big difference between the Iran and Australia. And Australia football comes out more from the English style. And specifically in the football, Brisbane Premier League and Capital League and also NPL leagues, the more direct games and more physical games. But in Iran, maybe we are focusing more on the technical games and more tactical games. And this is what I can see as the big differences. But the other things that I believe that in Australia, the football running fantastic in a social and community style. And that's really interesting for myself to be involved during the last 2 years in a football Brisbane.
We've seen Albany Creek in the BLK Silver Boot pre-season competition. What have you made of your performances so far, and are there, I guess, what have you identified as areas that need improvement going into the season proper?
Before I joined to the Ace, and I believe that the Ace is still running fantastic off the field, and I believe that if I want to be honest with the club officials, we have one of the best clubs throughout the Brisbane based on the facilities, equipment, and structure. And I believe that the Ace just needs to have some success on the field. This is what we are responsible, myself as a coach and also the rest of the players, we are responsible to bring some success and winning mentality and winning games for the Ace. And in the preseason games, we are starting with some games. And I know that maybe if you want to focus just on a silver boot, if you want to just think about the result, maybe you think that the Ace maybe cannot be successful, but definitely this is what I can guarantee from now. The Ace will surprise all the football Brisbane this season, upcoming season. And you can see that how we play and how we are coming to the season.
Fighting words, good to hear. Now, Kevin, you've been around the club for a while. Tell us about the pre-season, how things have been for you.
Okay, with our pre-season starting, we had a lot of injuries. Players coming in from our squad last year and getting a chance to actually play this year. A couple of new signings starting up and bringing quite a bit of experience to our squad. I just think we're looking at finishing maybe in the top 6.
Just on that, you've brought Sasa Radulovic over from Wolves. What's he been like? What's he brought to the club?
Sasha is an ex-Bundesliga player, so everybody looks to him for guidance, for leadership, for development. And so far he's actually shown a lot of players the right way to play the game, and everybody's learning from him. He's actually a great leader in the squad.
Thomas finds You were probably, if not the most improved, probably one of the most improved teams in the second half of 2014. How do you capitalise on that momentum going into 2015?
To be honest, Rafe, look, we're hoping to build on the last half of last season. We've had some new lads sign, but the aim of this season was to sign a lot of last year's squad, of which we've signed 8 of last year's squad, but we've lost the likes of Leslie, Homer, etc. So, yeah, we're still looking to build on the last season's results, yeah.
Now, Jose, we just looked at the video before. I just told him he needs to score one of those every game. You're here from Costa Rica. Tell us your story. How did you come to play for Capalaba Football Club?
Yeah, well, I arrived to the country 4 years ago. In my first season, I played with Peter, and that's how he met me. That's how I met him. And I stopped playing for a while. I got injured. I've been in other clubs. I wasn't planning on to play this season, but I got myself fit again. Pete convinced me on coming to his club, and I feel really welcome there. Very, very good, and looking forward to play again.
And the team's fitted in? Team's going well? Good mood coming into the season?
So far, yeah, we had some pre-season games, and the club is looking pretty good. The boys, some of the new boys that are doing really well, and yeah, I'm looking forward to play with them and do a good job.
Fantastic. Hope it goes well.
Free kick here to Capalaba. And Tom Carroll makes the save to his left. That'll be a save of the month contender there from Tom Carroll. Yeah, plays it on for Kuno. Kuno goes himself. What a screamer from Abaya Kuno. Well, Steve, top 4 last season. Have you pinpointed what's required to take that extra step this season to try and claim some silverware, either the premiership or perhaps a grand final victory?
Scoring goals. No, that's about it, really. You know, we've got a pretty well-balanced team. We work very hard. We've kept the majority of the players together. You know, built with a few good players. But hopefully this fella here will solve some of those problems.
We'll come to that in a moment. He's the leading goal scorer in the BLK Silver Boot so far. As you said, you've managed to keep a fair few players from last year's squad and brought in players like Ramon, Nick Robinson from UQFC, Jared Lancaster, who's had a spell with CQ Energy in the NPL. How are those new players integrating into the squad of players that were already there?
Well, doing very well. It's early days at the moment. We've had a pretty difficult pre-season with so many key players injured, but it's coming along. You know, with the players that you just mentioned, hopefully we'll get goals, experience, and some you know, intensity and enthusiasm in our play, which I've seen at training, and I'm sure it's going to come in the games.
Now, Ramon, as mentioned, if there was such thing as Golden Boot for the pre-season, you're leading it at the moment. What's happening? What's going on? How come? Are you fitter than you've been before?
To be honest, just a lot of pressure from the coach. I'm joking. I think as a striker, you know, it's important to get a bit of momentum, you know, in regards to scoring goals, and I think that's something I'm just working on pre-season. So, you know, yeah, scored a couple of goals, which has been great. Just got to keep doing it week in, week out, and I suppose that's my job on the field to do that. So.
Now, you've got the small matter of the Silver Boot Grand Final this weekend. You've got the Silver Boot Grand Final this weekend. You're confident? You think you'll win it?
100% confident. I mean, we've come a long way since you know, our first training session with a lot of new players. Been doing a lot of fitness, which has been great. You know, I think, you know, come this weekend, you know, we're definitely going to give Rochdale a run for their money. So yeah, definitely 110% confident.
Jose Robinson has the opener for Ipswich Knights from long distance. Ball movement here. Junior with the ball through. Scott Dykeman now picks up on it. And Scott Dykeman puts the Ipswich Knights ahead again on 65 minutes.
Well, Stuart, perhaps your preparation is a little bit behind the 8 ball in terms of being able to bring a squad together with that turnover that happened in the off-season, but I've seen a couple of your Silver Boot performances and they seem to be improving from match to match.
We're certainly improving week to week. It's been a difficult off-season with a large number of players leaving the club, but we're slowly recruiting more and more players, and it's good to sort of fly under the radar and be an unknown quantity for the rest of the league.
You've been around the Ipswich football scene for a while now. The circumstances where the club avoided relegation last year really bonded the whole club as a whole club effort, wasn't it really? How has that translated, if anything, into the 2015 season?
Well, it hasn't really translated, to be honest. We've had that many players leave and so many new players join the club. We're just happy to fly under the radar, to be honest. No one's got any expectations of how we're going to perform. I'll guarantee that we'll give plenty of upsets, and looking forward to hosting Lions back at Bundamba and bringing back the good old days, as they say, from Ipswich.
Now, Lachlan Bond, you're one of the new players in the league. Tell us your story. Where have you come from?
So for the past 3 years, I've been playing in the US at a Division 1 college, and I loved every minute of it. I decided to defer for this year, so I've come back to Brisbane, and I'm happy to sign with Ipswich.
And what are your expectations this year?
Just, I want a good season under my belt. I want the team to do well. We got nothing to lose. So just looking for a good year.
Picks it up on the edge of the box. That's the winner. Jason Park, the new recruit back to Lions. Makula is back now. Makula with the header on. And Zabak's forced to tip it over his bar, and I think he's collided with the post there.
You are pegged as the benchmark of the competition given the signings in the off-season. But is there still work to do on getting combinations right and gelling the team?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've obviously proven early doors that we're not unbeatable. So there's always work to do. We've got high standards at the club, but yeah, it's still a work in progress. There's 7 or 8 new players, so certainly. The league's not one right now at the BPL launch, so whatever odds people give us, it's irrelevant. We've got to go out and get the job done on the pitch.
The Trophy Superstore Premier League is obviously major on the agenda at the moment, but also the FFA Cup will be high on the list. Don't want to bring it up, but Peninsula, that you're in charge with last year, knocked out the last hurdle, same with Lions. Is that an important aspect for the club trying to get back on the national stage as they were in the National Soccer League days?
Yeah, look, it's important for every club, I think. You want to do well in every tournament you play, and we're no different. We want to win everything we play, and I would assume every coach, every player in this room right now wants to test themselves and do the best they can. And look, we're no different. We want to have a successful season. We want to do well in every trophy we play in, and that's what we'll be striving for.
Did you notice the building work stopped as soon as Warren Moon started talking? That's respect. That's respect. Phil, what's the players' perspective on the team this year?
I think the players were excited to come back for another season. I think this year it's very open across the board. I think any of the teams can win it this year and do very well. We just need to focus on our own game, train hard, put the effort in, and let's see where we are after 22 games.
Drop us some names. Who are going to be the main challengers this year?
Oh, look, I think the danger to single anyone out would be an issue. You want to make sure that every club's aware that anyone can take points off them on their day. So to single out one particular club or person to say they're going to be the front runners, you take your eye off the pack, and they're the ones you've got to watch out for. It's the clubs that will fly under the radar, they're the ones to keep your eye on.
Green. Spots Kostovski. Kostovski on his own. Brilliant shot, brilliant strike. And gets involved again after the touch from McGee. McGee making a goalward run. Tesoro! What a spectacular strike from Daniel Tesoro to level it up.
Now, Nick, 6th in 2013 and the first year as the Merge Club, 5th last year. Is the natural progression now to move into the top 4 for 2015?
Yeah, the top 4 is obviously our goal, but obviously there's plenty of good sides out there at the moment. A few teams trying to stay under the radar that we're taking notice of. So, yeah, it'd be hard to get in there. Obviously, Capalaba looking really strong this year, Roachdale looking strong, Easter looking strong. Obviously, if you're a betting man, lines are $1.01, so I've been told. So it's going to be hard to get in that top 4.
You've brought players from the Capital Leagues in Michael Adakwa from Park Ridge and Jasper Benning from Bayside. How are they fitting into the structure? I've noticed in a couple of games they've sort of been getting a half each so far in the BLK Silver Boot.
Yeah, probably one thing we got this year is competition for spots. So in particular, we've got some goal scorers this year. You'll talk to the big man in a minute and find out why, but yeah, we're just trying to work out different systems we can play. Obviously, they're very different players. So yeah, both good acquisitions, both offer something different to us, and if they start putting the ball in the back of the net, they'll play more than the other one.
Now, Phil, the Silver Boot form's been positive. Are the lads bouncing coming into the season?
Yeah, I think they will be. We're disappointing to lose first up to Strikers, but we recovered well. We had a good performance against UQ, managed to pip Olympic and have a result go our way. Finished top of our group, with 2 NPL sides. For a BPL team to do that, it's always good. Unfortunately, the result against Roachdale wasn't the best. But yeah, I mean, we're all gelling as a team, so many new signings, so season looks good.
And what changes have you noticed this year?
Just touched on the new signings. There's a lot of players. As Nick said, competition for spots. Depth is a big thing now. Our resis are going to be strong. Any sort of injuries, suspensions, we're going to have people lining up to take that spot, and you've got to fight hard to get it back. So.
More tussle here between the Pioneers player and the Mitchelton player, but it's Carl Clement who gives Mitchelton a lead. Free kick to be taken just in front of the Mitchelton bench. Played on, gets up high, and Joe Clevo has the opening goal for Mitchelton. 3 minutes into this second half.
Well, Sam, I think when you were first announced as Mitchelton coach, there was, I guess, some expectation from some that you'd bring a lot of players from Wolves across with you. It hasn't really turned out that way. So how have you been able to integrate the new players that you've brought into the squad along with those Mitchelton players who have been playing in Capital One for the past couple of years?
Well, I brought three players from, actually 4, from Wolves. We've got 3 from Mitchelton that are actually starting, and then we've got probably 5 from Mitchelton's last seasons that was in the squad. So we're all gelling together.
Made the Silver Boot semis and knocked out last night. Have you been happy with the performances during the pre-season?
I've been ecstatic. To come from where they have, brand new team, brand new players, brand new coach, brand new ethos, Last night we had 10 players, and I thought we were magnificent for all the game, and that's the positives I take out of them. East are probably going to be the main challengers to Lions, and we'll give them a good run for the money. So I think we'll have a successful season, and our aim is to try and, same as everybody else, try and get in top 4. I think there'll be probably about 5 clubs, all much of a muchness, and it's whoever comes out on top.
Now, Nick, you've just told me that you've been playing at Mitchelton since the under-7s. What did it take to get you in the first team?
Just coming through the youth system and working hard, and it was good winning the league last year. And now playing BPL, it's going to be a good season, I think.
Spending 2 seasons in Capital League 1, dominating that competition, what's the expectation this year? What's a pass mark for Mitchelton?
Well, I think we just want to win as many games as possible, and be as close to that top 4 as possible. And yeah.
Free on the right, but Ali Graham elects to take it himself. Gets past Harding. Oh, Ali Graham! Fantastic strike!
Good on by Hensley. Moon attempting to control it. Ball for Hurlin now.
Hurlin into the top right hand corner. Sneaks in. And Richie Hurlin gives Peninsula a 2-0 lead.
Terry back at power after a 3-year absence. We had a bit of a discussion at the Macron Cup last week. You had a brave, I guess, prediction about your initial goal for 2015. What's that again?
Top 10.
And then where is it from the top 10?
Oh no, we'll be top 10 to top 6 from what I've been told by everybody. So I think if we finish top 10, I'll keep my job.
You're another team with a large squad turnover. I think you've really only been able to sort of get together a squad since about the start of January. Is it about a rebuilding year in 2015 and launching something serious for future years, or you think you're a legitimate chance to do some damage this year?
26 players in 15 weeks, through both squads. So, I'm not phased at all. I think we're going to do quite well. In the Macron Cup, everyone sort of rates off the MPL. Amazingly, comments of some of the experts that watch us play against Palm Beach apparently play Palm Beach as reserves, and now we had a good win against 10 men, but I think with what you've seen, what we've put together, considering these boys have only been training together as a group now after we sorted November, December out, 3-4 weeks, we're heading in the right direction, and there's a long way to go. I'm amazed that we sit here and talk about clubs already winning the league, and congratulations to Lions if they've won the league already, but I'm going to give you the tip. There's a long way to go, and we'll certainly be competitive, and I think every team in the league is going to be very competitive.
Now, Sean, you've been a stalwart of the club for many, many years. Tell us about the off-season. How's it been?
Yeah, mate, it's been different. It's obviously a rebuilding phase for us. We've only kept 3 players from last year, including myself. But we're a proud club, and with loyal fans, and everyone that puts on this Power jersey knows what's expected of them, and we want to continue the success that the former coaches have left the club.
Tell us about some of the youth players that we'll be seeing this year.
Oh, mate, we had a good under-16s and under-18s last year. They both won the grand final. We've kept a fair few of them at the club. I won't name names. 6 or 7 of them are stepping up into the top grade, and yeah, looking good.
Oh, strike from Butler! Well, Ali Graham's was spectacular. That was even better. Score of Butler again. Cuts it back for Schiavo. Schiavo finds enough room to move in and places the ball into the top left corner.
Cruzy, you've made the Silver Boot final. Still early doors, but looks like signs of a turnaround down at Rochedale this season.
Yep. Probably not a hard thing to do after last season, which was very disappointing. Not where our club wants or should be. So the signs are promising that we can turn it around a little bit this year. Bringing Scotty on board has been a really good move by the club. And just to turn around what was a steady ship and really get it going again, back to where it should be.
Bit of an interesting opening for you, Scott. First up against your old side in Peninsula, and then you travel off to Lions, and I don't know what we're calling it, the Bromance Derby, I think Ian Judd has called it. Those two early matches should provide a good indication of where the squad's at.
Yeah, no, there'll be the whole year's going to be difficult. The first game will be a very tough game against Peninsula, so one everyone's looking forward to, I suppose, with the way the draw was done. I don't know how it was done so well that I got Peninsula first and then Mooney second, but I suppose the draw is just pulled out of the hat. But no, against Warren, it's going to be a difficult game as well. I think that we both got injured, so we didn't have to play against each other. So again, that'll be a different one. We'll both be on the sideline in the round 2 game, so we actually won't get to take the park, either of us against each other. So it'll be a hard start for everyone, I suppose. You know, everyone wants to win the first couple of games of the season to get yourself off to a good start, and that's something that we've done at Peninsula the last few years. So coming to Rochedale again, that's something that we're going to want to try and do is start well, because then if you do start well, you can afford yourself a little drop off throughout the season. So we'll be going in to win as many games as we can. As Mark said, last year wasn't the sort of year that the club wanted, but we've started okay this year. Again, if everyone's sort of talking about squads, I think we've only got about 4 from last year's team as well. So we've had to rebuild a pretty new squad ourselves, and we've brought a lot of players in, and most of them have only come within the last 2-3 weeks. So it's quite exciting how everyone's coming together, and we've got a hard game against East on Sunday, which will probably show us where we're at, because I thought they were excellent against Lions the other week. So we'll look at East first before we look at Peninsula or Lions.
Todd, tell us a little bit about those new signings. How are they all settling in?
Yeah, I think the boys have settled in real well. They've come in with a lot of confidence, actually. Good bit of experience, and I think at the end of the day they'll do extremely well. And you can see, if anyone watched the game the other night, they're fit and they're ready to go. So yeah, really good.
So what improvements on last season do you think you need to move yourselves up the table this year?
Yeah, obviously it's the consistency, and this year we seem to have a little bit more structure with Scotty and Cruiser working as a team, so that's something that's been a little bit different. We're probably out of our league. We had a few young boys that really didn't settle in, and this year we've got a bit more experience, and that's what we're going to take ahead from the future games going forward. So, yeah.
Free kick here to Mitchelton. Massey takes it, blasts it over the wall, fantastic save by Blakey, tips it onto the woodwork, and Taringa clear away. Plays it on for Stephen Chester. Chester puts it on his right foot, Stephen Chester! What a strike!
Well, Mick, what changes or adjustments have you had to make to the side to take the step up from Capital League 1 to the Trophy Superstore Premier League?
Yeah, I just think it's about creating a little bit more depth within the squad. We haven't really gone out and made any huge marquee signings. It's just about stability and depth and getting players on board in and around the same sort of ability of the existing squad players. So we're really happy that we've been able to do that.
You've escaped the limelight of the pre-season competitions. You played a trial against Holland Park on the weekend, won 3-1. How have the preparations been going so far?
Yeah, no, they've been great. We just didn't want to, it's not about, escaping the limelight or flying under the radar or anything. We wanted to stick with what we found worked really well for us last season in our pre-season, and, real focus on the importance of midweek training and then trying to schedule some of our own games. But yeah, it was a good hit out against Holland Park. They'll do well in Capital One this year, and and they really tested us, and we were quite happy with how we played on Saturday.
Stephen, it took the last 5 minutes of the regular season for you to secure that promotion to the Trophy Superstore Premier League. Must have been a buzz about the club at that time. Has that continued into this year?
Yeah, it definitely has. Obviously, it's a big thing for the club to be back in the Premier League, and we've been in the top flight for a long time, and we're just really looking forward to getting the season started and building the club back to what it used to be.
Is survival the goal, or are your sights set a bit higher?
I think overall, as a club, obviously avoiding relegation would be every club's goal. As a BPL team, we're not going to put limits on our performances this year. We'll just take it game by game, and I think we'll do quite well. We've got some new players in this year, in addition to keeping the majority of last year's squad. So no, we're looking forward to it.
Possession at the moment. Koziyama, what a shot! Goal of the month contender there from Matoki, Koziyama. And aren't they happy on the UQ bench about that one? Ball clearance there, and Junior, long range strike, and an equally fantastic save there from Duncan Short. He absolutely launched this, did Daniel Junior. Had Duncan Short at full stretch.
Well, Brian, the last coach appointed in the competition, has that meant you've had to play some catch-up with your preparations?
No, not really. I have a plan for the season, and I'm going to stick to it. I noticed you didn't have any highlights from this year, but that's good. Yeah, we just got a game plan that we're going to stick to, work with what we got. Got some good technical players, and just go step by step, baby steps.
Now, the bloke sitting beside you, Ashvin Theramanathan, I've been impressed by him during the Silver Boot. Is that one of the keys for this season, to get those younger players to step up, believe in themselves and grab their opportunities?
Yeah, for sure. And, UQ is a slightly different club to all the rest of them in Brisbane. I turned up there the first night, there were 85 players to trial, and they're all uni students. So we have a lot of young players that want to perform, and he's especially one that showed me technique, and he showed the heart. So he wants to work hard. The position's there for him to grab the two reins.
Ashvin, you had a tough first couple of games in the Silver Boot, conceded quite a few goals, but in your final game, you had a 2-2 draw against the Strikers.
Yeah, it was a bit tough, obviously, getting used to Brian's new system, especially because it came in a little bit later than other coaches, but we've played a fair few games now, and I think the system's slowly starting to click, especially with the players getting to know each other. So I think the system will suit us well throughout the season, and we should get some good results.
Should have been a good confidence boost for you. What are the goals for this season?
I think as a club, I think we should be aiming pretty high. I think around probably top 6 or top 5, and maybe push to the top 4. Some people might say that's ambitious, but if you're not aiming high, there's no point in playing, really. And personally, I just like to nail down a starting position in the first team. I think that'd be good, yeah.
Provides the assist for Clulo. Clearance from Aparicio straight to Clulo. And Trent Clulo has another goal. Towards the back post. Here's Gaffney! Gaffney, an absolute bolter! And is that the winning goal for Wolves?
Well, Bobby, I guess it's well documented the circumstances that occurred at the club in 2014. You're a coach that's noted for your success. How have you gone about preparations to try and pull together a competitive squad for this season?
You know, in a sense, there's been a little bit of adversity within the club, and you know, sometimes from adversity, it gives younger players the opportunity that maybe they've never been given up until this point, and that's where I find myself and the club in the position that they're in at the moment. I'm quietly confident. We have endeavoured to bring some players in, but the main focus has been on fringe players who were on the fringe of the team last year who maybe didn't get a regular run. Obviously because of the success that the club had last year, and sometimes that makes it difficult for younger players to force their way into a regular first team spot. Those players that I've found in the training, pre-season training today, there's a hunger there. They see an opportunity and there's a hunger, and you know, whilst you've got that hunger, you've got hope.
Have you given the squad, or do you have any goals or expectations for the season?
No, I don't have any expectations at all. The only expectations I have when I get involved with players and coaching is to implement the principles of football. And we've been training very hard on fitness. We're not quite there yet, but we're working towards that. And also, as I said, the principles. We've got a group of players who are hungry, who have a point to prove, not just to me as a coach, but to prove that they're good enough to play regular first-team football. And I think the players are there. So they've been working hard. Principles are there. I don't have any expectations. All I'm hoping for is that we can reach a point where we are, no matter who we play from week to week, that we are very competitive. And I've got a belief that we will be.
Peter, you're one of the few remaining players from last year. You're the captain for this year. Tell us about your new role. Tell us about how the pre-season's been for you.
Well, obviously being captain, there's a certain set of standards you want to set and responsibilities for obviously the younger players and the new players to the club, and you want to set a high standard so they follow suit. Personally, my game doesn't change too much. I've always been pretty vocal on the field. Right now it's just about getting the players and the younger players playing the style of football that Bobby wants to play, and that's my main priority right now.